So I'd like to call to order the February 18th, 2025 Batavia Park District Board of Commissioners regular board meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you call the roll?
Larson. Here. Bell. Here. Tillman.
Here.
Gray. Here. Callahan.
Here. Any items to be added, moved, or changed on the agenda?
They're not.
Excellent. All right, so I entertain a motion to establish the consent agenda as follows. Approval of meeting minutes for the regular board meeting of January 21st, 2025. Approval of the paid expenditures, approval of the expense approval report, approval of the investment summary, approval of the income statement, and approval of purchases.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gray. Aye. Larson.
Aye.
Bell. Aye. Callahan.
Aye, motion carries. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as established.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Guests, matters from the public. Anyone wishing to address the board this evening? Okay, seeing none. Matters from the commissioners. Any commissioners would like to make any comments this evening? Seeing none, moving on to correspondence. So we had two pieces of correspondence. A thank you note from Dan Waldinger, Director of Parks and Recreation at the Mohammed Park District, for the visit to the West Main Community Pickleball Parks, and a letter from the Executive Director, Allison Niamella, to Scott Bruning at the City of Batavia requesting disbursement of the $578,000 land cash available funds to the Park District. We'll put those on file. Next is Batavia Parks Foundation. Welcome.
My name is Matt Williams. I'm new to the Batavia Parks Foundation. The foundation met last month. We reviewed our mission statement and our goals for the entire organization. We have a lot of new members. We're excited to get more involved in the community, so it's kind of a growing stage from a lot of new members. The foundation is looking forward to supporting the Clark Island grand opening event with activities for the whole family. We have a pop-up scheduled at the Batavia Farmers Market during the Windmill City Fest. We're looking forward to serving under the tent on Sunday during the festival. And just thanks for the opportunity to share everything with you guys. Any questions?
Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate that. It's appropriate for you to be here for the next item on the agenda, which is the presentation. So, who's going to do this? Going to do it on the podium?
You want to go?
All right.
All right, this deserves the podium.
I'll go first. All right. It's always scary when I have a microphone, right, Tretta? Well, actually, it's fitting for me to be presenting to you this award tonight. We started our relationship together on the park board, and as I wind down my career on the board, you and I spent a lot of time together when you sat in that chair. And since then, you haven't slowed down at all. And I think it's important to let the community know what an asset you really are. I think this community has benefited greatly from all of the things that you have put your heart and soul into, starting with the Riverwalk, which was the first thing I heard about. Who are these McKennas? Who are these McKenna people? And then you ran for park board. And I really enjoyed our work on the Peace Bridge, personally. I mean, I think that was kind of the capstone of our relationship together. And I think it is one of those things that's fitting because it actually sits out there for everyone to see from now until eternity, if you will. So, well, I don't plan to go anywhere. So I would like to present this award to you in appreciation for your many years of dedication and service to the Batavia Park District on the Foundation Board, as well as to the community at large. We love you. Thanks. Allison has something to say.
But wait, there's more. Don't go anywhere yet. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Ditto what Pat said. So I'm speaking on behalf of all the professional staff and myself. You have been alongside us for many, many years. Even as your husband led the charge with the Batavia Parks Foundation, you courageously have always stood synchronized with the Park District, moving forward all the initiatives, whether it was Riverwalk-based or just grassroots Batavia-based. You're the queen of the pop-up tents, or pop-up events. You really bring a lot of vision, heart, and soul to Batavia, and for that, as staff, we appreciate that because your vision is always very clear and very creatively challenging, but we always accept a good creative challenge, don't we, staff? We consider ourselves professional problem solvers, and you'll give us the challenge, and professional problem solvers will go to work on it. So thank you for always giving us something to aspire to. And you talk a lot about legacy projects, and I can definitely say that you can be very proud of the legacy projects. We're all proud of the legacy projects that you've also left behind, because peace will forever be in our hearts here in Batavia, and you're a key piece of it. And this is homemade from staff. Britta, you rock. Thank you for all you do. The Batavia Park District team, it's a memorial rock with hand-painted rocks. We have our artisans right here, Katie Burgess, hiding behind the camera lens.
Nice job.
We know that you love your garden at home, and now you have given us an extension of yourself with the Peace Rock Garden, so you can have a piece of it.
Good. Can I say a few words too?
By all means.
Okay. So, I have a microphone one more time. So I do have to reminisce just a little bit. It was about 27 years ago that I first stood on my head at IPRA to raise the first dollars for the Parks Foundation. How many of you were there? Anybody? 1, 2. Okay. It happened. Those are the first dollars raised. And I want to thank Mike Clark, then the executive director, and the park board at that time that saw the vision for engaging the community in the parks. And also for Dan Brace, the founding president, who served for 9 years, and all of the board members that served with Dan. Then I want to thank Steve McKenna, who served for 12 years as the president, and all of the Parks Foundation members that served alongside him. I want to thank Corey Porras Plausch, who served during difficult times, kind of after a big building, after Bulldogs Unleashed and the pavilion and the boardwalk, right? She was kind of having to reset, and then it was the start of COVID. It was a tough time. But those foundation members that stuck it out and that served with me, with the Encore Batavia volunteers that came in to infuse new life, and that was 3.5 years ago. And I'm especially proud of the 3 peace projects and working with you all on those. The 12-foot Peace on Earth letters, the Peace Selfie Station, that was fun, and the Peace Garden. And those are all wonderful legacy projects that I look forward to celebrating with you all on April 24th. The Batavia Chamber of Commerce Inspire Awards. Get your tickets. You'll always see me around in the parks. You don't get rid of me. But I also look forward to seeing what the new president, Katie O'Brien, and new foundation board members are going to bring to the future of the Parks Foundation and engaging our citizens in the parks. Thank you so much.
I was wearing my I Am Batavia Peace Bridge sweatshirt hoodie today that Craig was selling at Foltos, and thought, I gotta get dressed up for my meeting, and took it off. And I'm thinking, this would have been the perfect day to be wearing that hoodie at this meeting. It looked like I did it on purpose. I wasn't just being lazy.
Excellent. Well, Britta, thanks for coming, and we're very proud of all the work you've done. All right, next item on the agenda is River Street Bike Ramp at Peace Bridge.
All right, I'd like to invite to the stand Rehat Berry of the City of Batavia, the city engineer.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to speak here today. My name is Rahat Bari and I'm the city engineer. I have Kurt Corrigan here. He's the Vice President of Municipal Services with V3 Consultants. I have to warn you that the picture that you are seeing, nobody has seen it yet. So this is fresh off the press. Kurt actually sent this thing to me yesterday. So we were anticipating coming to the meeting today. That's why he gave it to me. And then we wanted to share this with you. Some of you may know that the city has been planning for last 4 or 5 months that we want to do a bike ramp for our the bike path that we have. As you know, if you are riding on the bike path on the east side of the river, you come up to the stairs and you have to carry the bike up. So the city council has been talking about a bike ramp. Then last October, September, we awarded a contract to V3 to come up with some concept and go for the design. So V3 and the city staff kind of went back and forth a little bit with some concept, and finally we like this concept, the one that you are seeing in front of you, and we gave them the go-ahead to start the design process. The design is about 50% done. It's not done yet. We are hoping that by end of this month and middle of next month, we'll get to 80%, and at that point, we are going to share that with everybody, including city staff and Kim and Josh. We work with them so that they can look at the design and provide more feedback to it. So the purpose of this is to introduce you and show you the concept that we have and get your feedback. So if you go back to the first one, so you can see, and for Breda, it's probably fitting, the Peace Bridge, and you can see how the ramp is going to go. So from Peace Bridge, you can go down the ramp and come back down and ride on the east side of the river. Same thing if you are on River Street on the bike ramp, on the bike path, you can come down and you don't have to dismount the bike anymore. So you'll just go little slow, but it will meet the ADA requirement, all other requirement. People should be able to use it as a walking path or bike path, either way. And it will be a great improvement to the bike path that we have in the city. You want to add something to it?
Yeah, obviously the renderings are in draft form. There's no pier at the Peace Bridge, and there's a few nuances there, but there's still a work in progress. I think Rahat covered a lot of it from an ADA and slope percentage for bikes. We're trying to meet 5% or less up and back down the ramp, so you can comfortably stay on your bike. Cross slopes, obviously ADA compliant. We did show on here, if you want to go to the next slide, just some opportunities here for on the inside of the wall. The walls are going to be about 8 to 10 feet high. That's how far down we have to go to make some of the slopes work. There's going to be opportunity, we think, for some art or something between, the Park District.
You just gave Brett a new idea for a new project.
So it kind of fits to this. So we thought we wanted to show a little bit what you could do on the walls there from the inside to kind of spruce things up. And let's see if you want to go to the next one. That would be as you're going down towards the river to the west. The width of the path on the lower level is about 14 feet. And as we go up towards the bridge, if you want to go back one, so right in here, as you enter, this is going to be a 10-foot area. There's a center wall where the existing stairwell wall is. So we wanted to match that, and then we have a kind of a nice big turning radius. So down at the end, as you turn and go down or come back up, there's some room there. So it's a little bit wider on the lower level than it is the top level, but again, we try to keep that center wall along the whole area instead of having two parallel walls and just complicating things, to be honest with you. So River Street's in the foreground. Another purpose of the project itself was there's a storm sewer now that currently goes under some buildings from River Street underneath into the river. The city, I was fortunate enough to be part of this River Street project way back when, so Rahat pulled me back out and said, hey, let's try this ramp thing again. So there's a storm sewer that we're trying to get out from underneath a building, and it's going to parallel the ramp itself out back into the river. So it's kind of a dual purpose project to get rid of that storm sewer under the building and move it over to this area here. The city really, one of the driving forces is not to go too far north into the parking lot. In case that property is ever developed, we want to keep as much room there as possible. So that's why the ramp is a little bit, it's consolidated in the area that you see. The next view, that's that one more. I think we have a night view. So we're going to have recessed lights in the wall up and down on both sides. So if there is a need for that, there will be some lighting as dusk, or in the early morning, you'll have some lighting down there along the ramp itself. As far as matching, we're going to try to match all the different railings that are out there now. And from a bridge, I don't think, these are just grading plans. If anybody had any questions on some of the details, we could get into that. But
So would you be replacing the current stairs then?
no, that's going to
keeping the
stay.
current
So
stairs?
if I can go, so this wall here is the existing stair wall here. So as you go up, we're going to connect into that wall going towards River Street. The initial design, which pushed it out a little north, we had a parallel wall to leave this completely alone. But when I was talking to our structural engineers, I'm like, if we can just connect onto that wall and keep that, it fits with the bike width on both sides of it. So we decided to try to use the stair wall as well.
Can you go back to the first one? How tall is the wall, the farthest wall back there?
It's going to be about 9 to 10 feet, if not a little touch higher, depending. Because on the other side is the parking lot, so we want enough height next to the parking lot.
Does it grade up, is it like a 10-foot wall on that side, or is it that the landscaping grades up to it?
So this is going
On
to
the
be
parking lot side?
here.
Parking lot side.
Parking lot.
Yeah.
So this is going to be 10 feet of exposed wall basically on the inside. On the outside, from the parking lot side, you'll probably have anywhere from 24
Okay, so it'll be
to
like,
30.
it bumps up a little bit,
Yeah.
okay.
And that side will all be railed too, so you can't come over the parking lot as well. We just obviously aren't there yet with the rendering.
Is the
Yeah,
idea to have local artisans create the murals?
So that will be something separate. We are just going to finish the wall in such a way that it can take murals or any other painting. That details have to be still worked out, but we'll finish it that way. But City Council and Park District can decide on what goes in there. And
That's the fun part.
yeah, that's the fun part. Yeah, we didn't want to take the fun away. And then just on the impact or the timeline of it, we are looking at probably starting as early as April, May. There is some permitting issues that we have to deal with from IDNR and Army Corps, but we can still start on other work while the permitting is going on. So there will be quite a bit of impact. There will be times where we may have to close the Peace Bridge on the east side. That means we have to close it on the west side too. And we will communicate all that to the staff. Obviously, we are not going to do things in vacuum. You know that there is farmers market on that parking lot. There is a lot of events. I was actually approving a lot of special event permit yesterday, and I put in a comment saying there will be disruption and contact me if you have questions. But we are reaching out to all those applicants and let them know that there will be impact. I've already reached out to Beth Walker at the downtown Naperville, told her that some of the parking areas will be already out because we'll have to access the site, and also there will be a staging area for the contractor to keep materials and all that. So there will be some impact, some pain, but at the end, when this project gets done, it will be a nice addition to the city. For funding scenario, city has allocated the TIP fund that we have. So this is going to be, we are hoping, not hoping, but the plan is to get it funded through the city of Batavia fund only. So we'll not be coming to you for any funds. That's not the plan.
And as you
I
know,
love the plan. All of a sudden I'm on board, man, you know?
and as you know, the TIF district is combined of property taxes from the Park District, School District, and city and library. So it really is a true community collaboration in that regard.
How long is this expected to take?
I would expect it to go all the way to November or so with landscaping and everything. So it's a big project.
Farmers market season.
We haven't, just because we are almost end of February and the plans are not done yet, we are trying to come up with creative ideas of how we can expedite things with construction process. But as I said, there is permitting portion of it too, and we don't control those timelines like with IDNR and Army
Well, it's
Corps.
much needed. I mean, I've been there many times when there's bikers from other cities and they're just standing there with their bikes kind of looking lost. And I'm like, you gotta downstairs,
It'll be helpful.
across, and
It'll
go
be
down in that parking lot. So no, it's definitely a much
There was an
needed.
Eagle Scout that came with an elevator idea. but
Yeah,
I like
that's-
this one.
Yeah. Those
Yeah,
are from
we-
the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the wayfinding signage will be helpful too.
Yeah, I mean,
To phase
we'll really walk through those two that maybe saying eastbound bike, east side of the bike path this way. So that's a good comment.
This way to Oz,
Yeah, this way to us, yeah.
Wizard of Oz reference.
No, I got that. I think he meant Frank Oz from, the public catch. So.
We love it.
Great.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Any other question, comments?
That's good.
So one more thing that, as you can see, there will be some impact to the Park District bike path and all that. So typically we have done an agreement. We call it temporary easement or some kind of an agreement that really both of our council, city's council and Park District Council probably should work out something to say that the city will have temporary easement to maybe like take down the wall, to connect, take some bricks out, we'll connect it over there on the upper level too. So I can probably have our city attorney come up with an agreement and provide it to the Park District attorney and they can work it out, or if you want to see it, you can bring it back, whichever.
No, I think
way
that's
you wanna
appropriate. I mean,
Yeah.
I think back in the day, this was a joint city park district project. But I think there's been some land acquisition by us and some different things that have happened. It's probably easier to just put agreement in place.
see. Okay,
For temporary construction.
Yeah, like temporary construction
Yep.
easement, yeah, of course.
Perfect.
okay.
Yep.
I'll have our city attorney drop something and work it out with your council.
Great.
Sounds great.
Thanks for coming tonight, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Next item on the agenda is 10C, technology update on the City of Batavia Park District.
See, there were no technology problems tonight because we have our consultant here.
All right.
Yeah, the irony would be if something went wrong, yeah.
Of course.
I do just want to mention a couple of quick things before Max gets started, but my role oversees technology at the Park District, so I've been working very closely with Max over the past couple of years to try to improve our technology infrastructure. So I want to give a big thanks to Max and his firm ConsultNet for having them as a partner with us. I feel it's been a huge benefit, and I think staff feels that way as well, as Max will go over some of our employee survey results that we recently sent out to employees. So I'll turn it over to Max so he can introduce himself and go over some of our accomplishments recently.
All right, thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Good evening, President Kelly and the rest of the commissioners out there. Appreciate you guys having me. I'm Max Check. I am with ConsultNet, Senior Technician and Account Manager for them. I've been involved with the Park District for quite a while, but in the capacity of ConsultNet for about 2.5 years. And so I'm here to update you on what we've been up to. So I'm really proud of how far we've come. I think we've really increased staff engagement with IT and really supported them in being efficient in their workflows and giving them what they need to get their work done. Some of the things that we've done to increase that engagement are, we've got a ticketing system now, which is great. All the employees of the Park District are able to submit their own tickets and requests for help, and that's a big help to us in providing good service because we can, receive and track and triage the tickets and just make sure that we're agile and responsive to the needs of the employees. I am an active member of the technology committee. So far, it's been just me and nobody else from ConsultNet. I really, as the account management and having some history with the Park District, try to keep that one on myself. So it's a very useful thing, I think. It's a monthly in-person touch point that we have, and it really helps to convene with all the stakeholders on the technology committee to kind of inform our IT strategy, basically. It's also a nice time where we can get together and talk about IT tangential things that I have some value to add, like the cell phone contracts, things like managed access and things like that. So it's a really nice and a useful touch point. Brent and I have begun having quarterly strategy or budget meetings in his capacity as the Director of Finance. Another really good touch point is to make sure that BPD leadership and IT is in alignment, basically, and it's always nice to review and make sure that we're progressing along with our budget initiatives, the initiatives that we wanted to accomplish, kind of act as a check where we are on the milestone there. And it's also nice to have a regular opportunity to touch base on any hot items that may come up and affect either our budgeting or strategy in the upcoming time. So that's really useful, and I think that instituting those things, among other things, just being proactive and responsive, has led to some great IT satisfaction amongst the staff. So as we can see here, we went out and put out a survey to our staff. Next slide, please, if you would. We have some results here. We saw a major reduction in dissatisfaction with IT in the last 2.5 or 3 years, which is great. We have accomplished 0% of our respondents. There's 21 of them being dissatisfied with IT. And a lot of people don't like IT, so I consider that to be something worth taking pride in. Out of the 21 respondents here, if you look how many of the respondents feel the technology is more reliable and their needs are being met, it's pretty much everyone except for maybe one neutral response we collected. There was no negative responses there either, which warms my heart and makes me happy. It means what we're doing is working. We are responsive and staff agrees, which is awesome, makes me happy. And our communication is good. 19 out of 21, we're a 5 out of 5 on our communication. So it makes me happy that the staff appreciates how hard we work to keep everything going. Next slide. So over the last few years, we've performed a number of infrastructure enhancements. We've made a lot of progress. We've established a PC lifecycle to ensure that staff's computers are replaced at the appropriate time when they're end of life. And I think that goes a long way towards increasing employee satisfaction. We don't have to come into work on an old beater computer or not know if it's going to start up, the next day so you can do your job. So we established that life cycle, and I think that is part of the reason we're seeing the good feedback from staff. But we also modernized our server infrastructure, both the hardware and operating systems. A lot of the hardware was beyond its useful life 3 years ago, and operating systems were out of support, which unfortunately means no security patches. So while that doesn't acutely help anybody, it's a huge risk mitigation. We originally had 6 physical servers that time, and we consolidated those down to 2, thanks to the wonderful blessing of virtualization and using it effectively. And there's a lot of efficiency gains there, both in maintenance, cost, energy consumption. That was a very good thing. The Batavia Park District is quite blessed actually to have the city of Batavia as their partner, offering the municipal fiber, which allows us to interconnect our various sites that have technology back to our infrastructure. It's a huge advantage, and it allows our other sites to operate smoothly. we undertook a modernization project to replace old network switching and increase the speeds on that fiber. The fiber was capable of going much faster, and actually the inter-site connectivity is anywhere from 10 to 100 times faster now on the different sites. Doesn't mean that when you click something it's literally 100 times faster, but it sets us up for the future and probably did improve speeds at least somewhat for the remote sites. Our infrastructure is currently here, so all of the other locations. We've also championed availability of that fiber for our other sites. It was in motion before we took over, but we successfully implemented the fiber at Hall Quarry Beach, which was a fantastic benefit. I think the rec team will agree that Quarry 2024, we got it implemented before Quarry season 2024, and I think the rec team will agree that it was better than ever. We had no network outages resulting from connectivity back to our infrastructure, which is probably a first thing ever, and I think things were much faster too. They were probably possibly more than 100 times faster with the implementation of the municipal fiber, if you just look at the numbers. And I think that they were pleased with that. One of the other major things that we championed for was, of course, our Callahan Community Center. Originally, the city of Batavia had said that this municipal fiber interconnect would not be available down there. Is the kind of future home of most of our admin staff, and we're looking at what infrastructure to leave here and what infrastructure to move there. Not having that on that robust fiber network would have been a problem. So we leveraged an excellent working relationship we have with Steve Allen down at the city of Batavia, and encouraged him and worked with him to think creatively and find a way to get ourselves the municipal fiber service down there at the Callahan Community Center, and we did that successfully. We have an IGA in place, and the fiber is scheduled to be installed before opening. So that's something I'm literally personally proud of, pushing that and not letting that die, because I think that's going to serve the district well for decades to come. So that's something I'm personally proud of. We've also improved our alignment with PDERMA's cybersecurity standards. We've implemented multi-factor authentication on a number of services that are very important and publicly exposed, like our remote access VPNs and email accounts, so that's great. They started offering, actually, which is fantastic, basically a cybersecurity scan of our externally facing infrastructure. So we're always keen to see what those results are, evaluate any risks that they find, and find ways to mitigate that. And we've also instituted cybersecurity training for our staff. And of course, cybersecurity is of utmost importance now. So it's a combination of education and live, basically phishing testing, both to kind of keep staff on their toes and to ensure that the education is working effectively. And I'm actually proud to announce that they have like an efficacy, or basically how many people fail the phishing training, and our results are like half of what a lot of industry benchmarks look like. So the education is working, and our staff has their wits about them, which warms the heart as an IT person. You want to advance the next slide? So technology obviously never slows down, and neither do we. So some of our ongoing and future initiatives here. Obviously, we've been working very hard to make sure the Callahan Community Center meets our needs for decades to come from a technology perspective. I already gave you one example, championing the municipal fiber, so critical. Lots of little things, making sure that wireless access points are placed appropriately and the architect didn't do anything silly with them. Making sure we have the Ethernet drops where we're going to need them in the future. Talking about where TVs can go and should go, things like that. So that's been a lot of work, making sure that's all dialed in. Obviously we're going to be opening it this year, and like I say, we want to make sure that our investment serves us well for decades to come. We've also been working a lot on improving our disaster recovery posture. Now that we've upgraded the performance of that fiber, we're looking at splitting. We mentioned those redundant servers. We had 2 servers. They were designed as a system to be redundant. So each one of them is running half of all of the stuff that we need our technology to do. But the other one carries a twice-a-day replication of the servers running on the other hardware. So there's a redundancy. In theory, we can tolerate the loss of one of those pieces of hardware. The beautiful thing is, now that our fiber is upgraded, we are looking at moving one of them off-site to one of our other locations. So if there were to be a site disaster that would challenge that or destroy that hardware. Again, in theory, because that has not actually been tested, that failover, it would be business as usual. We turn on the replicas at the other site that wasn't destroyed, and all of our server infrastructure is online just from the other location. We have budgeted for and begun the implementation of a commercial off-the-shelf cloud backup storage, another great one I'm proud of. Brent and I, that came out of those quarterly budget meetings. It's like, it's a great thing to do. We're sending our backups nightly automatically off to Texas. So if there's a disaster, that destroys the site and all of our technology, it's all safe in Texas. There's other important...
That's Texas.
There's other important... Well, off the grid is where you want your backups. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it.
They took their whole state down a couple winters ago.
So anyway, we've implemented the cloud backup storage. Another great, moving forward and increasing our operational resilience. We're currently planning and going to execute basically an optimization of storage and backup resources. We're working with the staff, or we're going to be working with the staff to basically classify our data into mission critical data we need to have in order for business to go on and to be able to support our community, and nice to have data. That way we can treat the nice to have data with different levels of performance and protection. So we're trying to garner additional efficiencies by undertaking that. And of course, you can't go anywhere without hearing about artificial intelligence these days, and you're listening to an IT guy with a presentation, so it won't escape this presentation either. Right now, we don't have any AI, any codified or official workflows, but it's nice. We actually do have licenses for Google's AI product, Google Gemini, included with our Google Apps for Business, and we've been encouraging staff to explore it and see what they can do to make them more efficient in their workflows. And that pretty much concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Mark?
No, I just think it's fantastic. I remember pushing initiatives to try to upgrade our technology 10 years ago, and I'm just glad that we are in the forefront now, so this is fantastic.
I want to give a huge shout out to Brent. I will say that Brent, we couldn't consult, and we couldn't have done this without Brent, and I think that I have a very long history with the Batavia Park District, approaching 20 years now at this point in other capacities. And we've always reported to the Director of Finance. For a while, it was actually the Director of Marketing, I think, right?
Yeah.
And moved to Finance. But in the Director of Finance that I have had to work with over that history, Brent is so engaged in technology. He's got his eye on it. He's looking for things he can do to help staff with technology. When I bring initiatives to him, he's sharp, and I demonstrate the value, and he's right there, and he's trying to see the value and trying to figure out how we can make staff's lives better with technology. So this is absolutely right there. I agree. I've seen some of exactly what you're describing, and Brent Strumpf right there has been instrumental in doing that.
How often?
We didn't plan that ahead of time.
No, we didn't. No, Mr. Tiller,
Can you read that just like you wrote it?
it's not written.
I've never seen you blush in a public meeting.
Oh, wow, look at me.
How often are you going to do employee satisfaction surveys on IT?
I'm not sure what an appropriate cadence would be. I would think annually would certainly be good. I don't know if there's more value to doing it more rapidly, but I think that's the first one that we've done here that I'm aware of. We do them, we have other customers too. We do them on an ad hoc basis with other customers. But
No, it makes sense.
There's not that many employees, though.
To the point, that is true, but typically the same ones don't engage the second time because they did it the first time. So I know you got 21 this time.
yeah.
You may get 15 to 20, but there's going to be a cross-section, but there's going to be some new folks doing it. So it's worth doing those surveys on a regular cadence. If yearly's fine, but it's definitely worth doing. Major corporations do it monthly.
Yeah.
It is a very good idea to do it on an annual cadence.
I think we definitely intend on repeating it. Brent and I haven't discussed the cadence at all, to be honest. This is the first we really talked about it, but I think we both agreed. I actually brought it up. I was like, hey, if you want me to talk to the board, let's just make sure. I assumed that the results were going to be good too, because we work really hard to keep staff happy and productive. So I was like, hey, let's collect the real data, and be able to show what we've done, and actually put some metrics to it.
And once you get some of these things in place, there's going to be different satisfaction about, or dissatisfaction about some of the new things that are coming in, particularly like the Gemini and how that works. It'd be a really good idea, to do a regular cadence of just where are we at, how are we doing type of thing. So.
And it's useful too, because we actually, in spite of the high overall satisfaction, we asked people what needs improvement. And there was a couple of surprises in there to me, things that I never would have guessed that people would have mentioned. So now in the tech committee, we're gonna be meeting, I think Thursday is our next meeting, right? We're gonna talk through, well, I'm planning on talking through that. and we need to engage the staff and find out some more information about why they said that application, or about internet or network slowness could use improvements when we've literally increased our inter-site transport by 10 to 100 times. So it's like, where is that? Is that in applications that we might be able to throw more resources at to make it go faster, or it's just without switching applications, there's not a lot we can do. Some of it might be, who knows, but...
They're only as fast as their slowest thing.
And I'd like to chime in very quickly and just say that, gosh, I've known Max probably since 19, 20 years old when he worked with Novix, who used to be our IT consulting firm. And it's just been wonderful to watch you flourish and thrive in your element, and what a great homecoming to have you come back. You really got us out of a pickle 3 years ago when we were trying to terminate our other IT contract, and it was a very difficult situation, and you navigated very successfully through the weeds on that. And I just want to thank you and let the board know that you are the mastermind behind helping us get through troubled waters. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Allison. I appreciate that. And like I say, I've known the Park District in some capacity for 18 years, minus a 4-year hiatus in there. And you guys are genuinely one of my favorite customers, and I take pride in helping you guys serve your community.
Yeah. It's on the record. This is
cool.
Your other customers may hear this.
That's all right. I said one of. It was qualified, right? I mean, it's...
But thank you, Max.
Did you say 3s and 4s? Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
here we go.
All right, next item on the agenda is announcements. Okay, thank you.
Ready. How are you going to follow the IT presentation?
I don't know. It's actually the most entertaining just talking to you. Good evening, Batavia. It's been so cold out that everyone is talking nonstop about the weather. But here at Batavia Park District, we've all been talking about whether or not people are ready for spring program registration. In-district registration opens this coming Monday, February 24th at 8:30 a.m. and out-of-district registration begins the following Monday, March 3rd. The guide features a variety of new programs for adults, such as fluid art and ukulele lessons, and new youth programs including NFL flag football, fishing, and skateboarding. Find your next favorite program in the Spring Fun Guide. And talking about favorite things, Batavia's favorite wine event is back. Batavia Uncorked tickets are now on sale, and this year there are 2 ticket options, a 10-ticket option for $35 and a 15-ticket tasting option for $50. So if you really like wine, let's go for the 15 option. This event did sell out a month in advance last year, so purchase your tickets now. The event takes place June 7th at the Peg Bond Center. And do you know what else is available at BataviaParks.org? I left a sentence out. Summer camp registration. New camp sensational participant registration opened yesterday for the 10 weeks of summer. Variety camp registration opens in the summer in April. So there are 2 different types of camps offered at the Park District. Do you know what is not available in summer? Ice skating on the Depot Pond. And if you want up-to-date details on ice conditions, text JOIN Depot Pond Skating, all one word, to the district's main number to join the text update group. The phone number is 630-879-5235. So these are all of the super cool announcements for tonight. Stay warm, and as always, play your way, Batavia.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is staff reports. Any updates from your written or highlights you want to share from your written reports?
Bump set spike to Brent.
I think the only thing that I want to highlight is our audit is underway, and we've been hard at work we'll be preparing and getting that going. So the fraud questionnaire was sent by our auditors to the board, so you respond directly to them with your responses.
Fourth bullet, talking about electronic approvals for ACH and so forth. Will we have to change any policies to reflect the fact that there's going to be electronic signatures for actual money transfers or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think there's and I'll find the citation, but there's a statute in Illinois that allows like electronic proxy signatures in place of physical signatures. That's kind of standard. So if we can take a look at the policies and see if it's worth a citation or something, but.
Yeah, I made a comment just because if we're going to be changing that, I don't want for audits or anything like that to come back and say that it's not necessarily in our policies, but if there's a statute that could be like, covers that, fine, but I think we should at least look into it.
Yeah, I'll take a quick look this week. Erin said better than I would.
Yeah, what she said.
And that it has been on my list of projects for this year to review our financial policies. So certainly we can work with our attorneys on that.
Great, thank you.
Josh.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring to the board's attention, we, as you remember in January, we awarded a cleaning contract to EcoClean. We did send them a termination letter on Friday. It was within our 90-day probation period, so we were able to terminate them for cause. Did I say that correctly?
Yes,
Yeah.
terminate the contract.
We have reached out to PCSI cleaning, so they will be starting this Friday. So we were able to just go with the next low bid, who unfortunately was not able to produce the manpower for it, so we went to the third lowest bid, which was PCSI. So they will be starting.
Third lowest.
Third
That's
lowest.
like highest bid? I like the spin. I like the spin.
Nine bids.
I like your
Okay,
spin.
9 bids.
Actually, I like the other spin.
We went with the 8th lowest.
Because it's
It's a
all.
much, glass half full way to
The
look at it.
RFP and contract provided for, if something didn't work out during the probationary period, it would shift to that method, to the next lowest bid, to the next lowest bid.
Cool.
What will the board have to
I thought it
approve
was
the
having-
contract?
Right.
Deja vu moment.
We don't have to do anything
No.
to PCSI? Okay.
And then, Allison, did you have the picture for the turf?
I did, I was gonna use my EDR.
Oh, gotcha. Do you want to just talk about it then?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then that is a wrap.
Great. Thank you. Kim?
Allison has a picture up of a tree, a box elder tree at Woodland Hills. Just wanted to let everybody know at home and here that it's a box elder, but it's very old, and we get a lot of calls about it, or a lot of concern whenever we're trimming it or anything like that. Want to let everybody know that we are having to take it down due to safety issues. It's at a high risk point right now. It's been monitored over the last couple of years, and been steadily declining, and the interior cavity is a little over 50% hollow right now. So it needs to come down. It's a safety issue. So I just want to announce it here, and then we're going to be putting up a sign in front of the tree with a QR code that Katie in the marketing department has helped us with. It's going to be on, that will lead people to the website to kind of talk about what we're doing and why. Because every time we go trim it, people are very concerned we're going to cut it down. So I'm anticipating.
So now we are going to cut it down.
I'm anticipating some.
I mean,
Those are horrible trees.
They are. I don't want to say that, but it is old and it is beloved. They love it.
I am also old and beloved.
So,
Please let me.
because we're anticipating a lot of interest in it when we go to cut it down.
No.
And then we are going to be planting another tree
We will be.
in its honor. It just won't be a mature tree of this.
Yes, we will be replacing it.
I have a question based on your helpful hints. I will talk to you about it after we're done.
Okay.
I was just reading.
All right.
Thank you.
Retreat up, please.
Okay, a question.
And Lynn?
Oh, so we had our first all-staff meeting on February 5th, and our very own Erin was the keynote speaker. She spoke to the staff about First Amendment, and it was awesome. She did a phenomenal job, and she really informed us. She put everybody at ease. I think a lot of the staff were a little nervous, didn't know what to expect. She gave us a lot of helpful hints that we all could take away from it. So thank you again, Erin, for coming and doing that presentation.
Very
It was
nice.
great.
I always tell everyone that I usually come here when it's pitch black outside. So it was nice to drive around Batavia in the day and join staff, a lot of whom I haven't met yet, so it was great.
These are all the parks everyone talks about.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, there are parks.
And quickly, just from my report, hiring for the summer seasons is complete. 80 positions at the quarry, 30 positions for camp, and 5 interns. So we are fully staffed. We'll be doing a couple. Offers to just the interns in the next week, but we're looking good. So we're feeling great. It's February.
Thank you for keeping us organized.
Yeah, no, and staff is awesome. We've got a great machine working here. It's well oiled. And then full time, we have 2 positions. Parks first round is this Thursday, and the second round for the Trades Tech 2 position is on Friday. So that's where we're at.
Awesome.
Great. Brittany.
Awesome. I just wanted to highlight Camp Sensational. So registration started yesterday. We sold out every week, K through 2. We added more spots. We're going to have the highest amount of campers at our camp this year. So please look at the other ages if you're looking to sign up, because in one day we're already jam-packed, but we added some more. I added some highlights of some program updates from 2024, and I just wanted to highlight one thing that I didn't add, that our returning customers, which we value greatly, purchase at least twice as much as our other customers. So our returning customers are doing at least 8 programs each with us. So I wanted to just highlight that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Katie.
Okay, so this is our spring program guide. The guide will be hitting homes tomorrow. We did have a slight delay due to a paper shortage, and so I know. So the guide will be hitting homes tomorrow in Batavia, so please look for that. But the overall viewing for our digital guide has been very strong while we were waiting for the print guide. So you will look for it in your mailbox tomorrow or the next day, depending on where you are with the carrier routes. As Lynn mentioned, marketing is very fortunate. We have hired our intern for the summer. We are looking forward to having an intern joining our team. And so we are looking forward to that. And then I did, last month, I did touch on that the marketing department was competing at the state competition. And so I did bring our awards. So we placed second and 2/3 out of 66 districts. Very, very proud of our team, very proud of the support that we receive at this district. So if you would like to view our submissions later, or I can pass them down. So that's our updates from the marketing department. I do want to say that Max has been extremely helpful for us in the process of, he's not here, so he doesn't know I'm saying this, very helpful from the marketing side. He was very instrumental in helping us build our RFP plus Q for technical support and security needs for the district for the new website. So.
Okay, thank you. Cool. Can you pass those down?
Oh, yeah, because I think they'd want to look at them.
Next item is executive director.
Yes. Some of this might be reminiscent of last month, only because last month was all the goals and objectives for the upcoming year. So now we're digging into those goals and objectives. So thanks to the park board, just last month, you awarded the bid for us to go ahead and purchase the 14-passenger minibus. So we did purchase the one on top. The blue is the one we currently own. We're going to brand the new one that we just got with the lime green. So our marketing department, Katie, is going to brand.
Just so you can tell them apart, or?
Yeah. Yep. Well, and the blue one has a handicap lift, a wheelchair lift, and then the lime green actually has cargo, a ton of cargo room in the back. So for senior trips, they can put their purses or backpacks, more travel. So we may end up naming them as well. But yep, so I just want to thank you, the park board again for your support with that CIP project. Josh was able to pick it up. I think this is a 3-week turnaround.
A lot quicker than the 12-passenger.
Yep. So this, Josh alluded to this. This is a photo of a playground at Hope Wall School in Aurora. So the reason why I'm showing it to you is because...
Hey, I know the architect that did that playground.
Yeah. We're trying to get your attention.
That's why they told me about this part.
That's right. So Josh and I would like to get board feedback on the surfacing used for the playground. So the surfacing right here is half turf, synthetic turf, and half poured in place. Our playground at South Mill Creek Community Park is in dire need of replacing. So we have noticed that the poured in place surfacing basically has a lifespan of 10 years. And beyond that, it's no good. And I remember 10 years ago when we first started adding it,
I asked that question.
President Callahan said, now pay attention to how long this lasts because it's very experimental. We don't have a lot of research that's been done on it to know what the lifespan of poured in place is. So sure enough, we can tell you it's 10 years. And so mixing turf and poured in place is an option, like what you see here, to keep costs down.
That's still ADA.
That's still ADA friendly. It's right across the, South Mill Creek Community Park is right across the street from Markland. So the residents of the Markland Developmental Center absolutely love coming over there. It's also a favorite playground of Fox Valley Special Recreation Association. So we hesitate replacing it with safety mulch, but we wanted to get the board perspective. We knew that Pat could lend a unique perspective on this particular playground, but to see if you like the combo of synthetic turf poured in place or all synthetic turf, we'd have to get pricing for that, or just what your thoughts are, and feel free to chime in.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You know, we wanted to get your guys' opinion on whether we try this part and just go all turf on this one and see how we like it, basically. We know the outcome with poured in place, so.
Have you been to this park? Have you gone to see it?
I have not physically.
I was going to give my opinion about the architecture of this park, but now I won't.
I was wondering what the little kids doing about them. Did you put that?
It's like it's Waldo.
What's the lifespan of
Right.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask.
It's not an actual.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Pat, what's the lifespan of turf?
Turf could be about 15 to 20 years.
And is it
So
more
it's not like,
expensive than poured in place?
it's not like the turf that they have at like the football in a field in Batavia, right? It's a
Softer?
it's softer, and we've actually done in lieu of the poured in place because in certain areas, certain climates with water, it actually degrades faster than 10 years. So we've been using the turf with concrete.
So turf with use of like,
No, in other words, in lieu of the poured in place,
Right.
we've been doing that out of concrete and doing the turf. And particularly for, you know, our elementary age kids or early childhood, they love the grass because you can actually fall on it and not hurt yourself. I mean, you can roll on it and play it. It's actually an extra play surface, right? It's not just something to move across.
but if we're going to be putting it across the street from a heavy use ADA, does it still last the 15
Yeah.
years, even though it's being rolled on and so forth, different?
So at this particular facility, so this is the severely handicapped from East Aurora and West Aurora. It's a shared facility.
Okay.
So I mean, there are you know, young men and women who come out here who are, you know, strapped to backboards and you know, who are on completely electronic, you know, devices to get to and from. And the whole surface, including the grass, is accessible because the grass just goes down on the CA6. So.
Is it hard for them
No.
to roll through that? No.
So
That's
then you're
cool.
saying you prefer turf and cement, not as opposed to turf and poured in place?
You don't have to go that far. We did it because we felt that the poured in place put our districts who constantly had to spend more money to either replace it or repair it. They were doing a lot of repair work with it. That if we put concrete in, concrete lasts 30 years. And the turf right now is at 15 at our oldest location, so.
I like mixed mediums, like, you know, like mixing it up. I think that unless you could like do different colors of the turf, I like the idea
There are
of mixed.
options,
Yeah, like, you know what I mean, like breaking it up, not just like all turf,
Sure.
not just
We
all
have
the same.
samples of blue, red, yellow.
I think that kind of is an interesting with either the mixed mediums or if the turf was like, you know, where that blue was,
Right.
that was blue turf. Is
We're
there
actually-
also turf that, this might be a stupid question, like that has like the little blue balls in it when you like fall into
No,
it? Okay,
no.
it's not that
It
kind of.
doesn't have that.
It's not the football field, but-
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say my daughter was almost so much
Doesn't have
turf ball,
that,
like,
that's my
for
point.
neighbor soccer.
It just lays down, kind of,
Okay.
it grains one way and it lays down. But, you know, if you put your hands in, it's got a texture to it, right?
Somewhere between turf and like midi golf, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, but it's a little thicker. I mean, it's, you know, the tines on it are a little heavier than, the mini golf.
That's what concerns me about mixed with concrete, because it's like, you can't fall on that.
Well, what we've been exploring is
We all did.
And I'm suffering because of it today.
concrete with a rubberized surface poured on the concrete. So we've been exploring a couple different options, because the failure points for the poured in place is the spongy subsurface, right? Because once the top surface gets a crack in it, the subsurface gets wet, and that's where it starts failing.
Freezes.
So like when we do, high school tracks, right? We put down asphalt and then we rubberize the asphalt, right? That's what we use for track surfaces. So we're kind of exploring doing it with concrete and then rubberizing the concrete surface. So you still get a similar look, but you have a much more longevity with the system as it's installed.
Have you ever gone over a poured-in-place surface with turf? Is that
No.
possible? No.
You gotta tear it up.
Which is,
Yeah, we haven't done
so
that.
it's just gravel underneath that turf? Really?
But the you gotta go over there and check it out. Because when you walk on it, it's like walking on a very long, uncut grass.
Really?
It's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But, the tines are only this thick.
Yeah.
But when you roll a wheelchair across it, rolls across just fine.
And it doesn't I just think about kids picking you or
No, it's all sewn, and it's tacked at the edges. So it's not.
Well, you're saying that this has been there for 15 years, right?
No, this one is a little bit younger. So our oldest application is 15.
And it's not like to Tara's point, it's not untacking, let's say, from where it might rim against. Okay.
Is cement or the poured in play more expensive?
The poured in place is much more expensive.
What about the
But the poured in
rubberized
play-
on top of the cement?
It's between the poured in place and concrete. It's like concrete plus, but still not quite as
No.
expensive as the.
How about the drainage?
You gotta take care of drainage. You gotta put a drain, like this has some drain locations, and then we also have some locations underneath the grass, where instead of doing CA6, we do CA7 without fines, and then that area serves as a drainage, so it's got a pitch to it.
You gotta pitch
So
it.
you gotta think about drainage, but that's, I just think it's worth considering, because if you don't, if the life cycle, if it's cheaper, which it is as a first cost, and the life cycle is longer, why would you do poured in place?
Right.
If all of the metrics are the same in terms of performance.
Well, I think one of that part that you're talking about is up to have some kind of,
Yeah, why
go for it with one, have a new, nothing like having a more advanced.
And we're seeing the poured-in-place mail at
Yeah.
Angstrom,
Yeah.
Riverwalk,
Yeah.
Yep.
it's not just this part.
Kids pick at it, dogs scratch at it. It's
Yeah.
beating.
Kids, once they see it,
Well, just the movement alone, it moves, right? So anything that moves is gonna fracture at some
Right.
point. So.
Great, thank you for your
My
feedback.
pleasure.
Is that like a little spinny merry-go-round thing that's
That is,
flush?
but you could put a wheelchair on.
Oh, cool.
Because you can roll right onto it. Very cool.
And there are wheelchair swings on the other side, which you can't see.
All right, so the leadership team and I had our kickoff meeting with the next practice partners for the strategic master plan. And we decided that our theme is going to be our tagline, Your Fun is Our Business. And we'll be hosting 2 community input meetings. So for those of you at home, the general public is invited to attend Tuesday, March 25th and Wednesday, March 26th from 6:30 till 7:30 p.m. at Shannon Hall. And we'll also be having key stakeholder interviews with each of the commissioners. It'll be 30 minutes each, a one-on-one with you and the consultants. And that is set aside for March 25th. So if you can't make it in person, we can at least try to find a way to virtually connect you with the consultants. So we'll send a calendar invite. And then Brittany, Katie, and I have been spearheading the efforts for the Clark Island Recreation Grand Opening celebration. So for those of you at home, mark your calendars, Saturday, April 12th. We're having a plethora of activities. The annual Easter egg hunt is going to start off right at 10 o'clock a.m. 10:30 is going to be the dedication and ribbon cutting of this amazing area. We're going to have a bounce house, food vendors. The date to date, we have 16 community groups with booths, everything from Girl Scouts to Batavia Main Street, you name it. They're going to be there. It's going to be a true party, a Batavia celebration. So with that being said, we are currently finalizing the guest list, which is going to include a lot of state representatives, senators that helped us write letters of support for the OSLAD grant, to thank them for the $600,000 OSLAD grant, and Blue Cross Blue Shield for the fitness court grant, that was $50,000 that we received. And yeah, I know that all the commissioners were here at the last board meeting, so I would love to see if I can hit play and then you get to watch this one more time, a virtual tour thanks to the drone footage that we have. Where did it go? Let's see if I can.
Is that John?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. The ambulance in the background.
The guy's full. I can't get up.
Odd Commodity is the name of the company that did the video production, the drone footage.
That's cool.
That's Josh.
Yeah, right.
Now, can you imagine once all the native plantings are in and the paths are completely redone?
That's cool.
Exciting. And then last up, just to remind the public that we are celebrating 50 years of the Depot Museum. So again, Kate Garrett, Jess Mize, Brittany, Katie Burgess, and the Historical Society, we are planning the actual anniversary celebration, and that's going to be 10 a.m. on June 21st. So we're going to have a concert at the Pike Bond Center, band shell. It's going to coincide with the farmers markets. We're going to have some guest speakers, someone who maybe asked to be a guest speaker. But it's going to be a grand celebration. Again, another reason to celebrate Batavia. And that is a wrap.
Great. Thank you.
A lot of planning right now.
Thanks, my God.
It's a lot.
All right, so we have no old business, so we'll move on to new business. So item number 15A, award the contract for the portable toilet services. So I entertain a motion to award the contract for portable toilet services for 2025 with an option to extend the contract to 26 and 27 to Mac and Crew Rentals of Sandwich, Illinois for $18,215. Motion by Tilla, second by Gray. Any discussion? Lindsay, please call the roll.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gray.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Bella.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye, motion carries. Next item is 15B, a requirement for our distinguished agency. So I entertain a motion to approve the contract for a proposal from ACT Services Consulting of Wheaton for a total fee of $39,100 to update our ADA transition plan, which is required every 5 years as a result of our distinguished accreditation.
Second.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. Any further discussion?
Would you like the presentation before the final vote?
Sure.
All right, so with us tonight is Mark Tregla from ACT Services, who will share more information about the ADA transition plan and hopefully answer any questions that you may have.
Well, I was looking forward to the portable toilet presentation. What can I say? So great to be actually back. So I did the original transition plan many years ago. It was kind of fun to see Jim name up on the wall. I worked with Jim and then caught Josh at the very end as we were finishing up the project and that. So if Allison's going to be the person that's going to be changing the slides here. So just a combination of things, just so you get to know me a little bit, and then also some of the work that I do, and just so you understand what a transition plan is if you're not familiar with that. So my background is in outdoor and therapeutic rec. I worked at Northeast DuPage Special Rec Association when I first got done with school. I actually worked also at Brookfield too. I'd worked there during the summer months in college and high school. Then they called me back, and I was the access coordinator for people with disabilities there. From there, worked at LCM Architects with probably the two best guys I think in the country related to accessibility, Jack Catlin and Doug Anderson. So Jack Catlin was the chair of the Access Board when the 2010 standards were revised. And then Doug Anderson was the chair of the Access Board when the outdoor developed areas was developed as well. And then since then, I have actually become an advisor for the UN in Vienna, Austria. So I actually, 2 weeks from tomorrow, I'll be presenting at the UN again. So that'll be my third time doing that. So I'm doing work internationally as well, just stuff with, the week after that, I will probably be in Ukraine doing some work there. So, so I'm getting all over the place. So these fun activities and places. So one of the things I had the opportunity to work on is a park in Tulsa, Oklahoma called the Gathering Place. And it ended up, I did all the accessibility aspect of it. It was more on the level of universal design. So it's a higher level of the ADA requirements and guidelines. And we were fortunate enough, we won the, got featured by Time Magazine as one of the top 100 new attractions in the world to visit. So that was in 2019. So it really got quite a bit of awards. It's about 100 acres. I know it's a little out of the way, but if you ever get to Tulsa or have a stop there, I would go to the park. It's very, very cool. I call it like the free Disneyland, you know, that people can go to and that. So, but you can see it won a number of awards. It's a very, so it was actually a, you'll probably like this from a budgetary standpoint, $465 million park. So yeah, so a few dollars there. And 400 million was donated by one person that actually lives in Tulsa. So if you have any rich, residents, you might want to talk to them or get them on the board, stuff like that. Okay. So the areas related to the ADA comes under what they call different titles. I almost call them like chapters of a book. So Title II is state and local governments, and that's what Park District would be required to be covered by related to that. Next slide. So one of the things that the ADA is providing that equal opportunity to participate in programs, activities, whatever you have going on, even with any kind of disability through accessibility or adaptations or equipment that might help them participate. This is actually a park that I worked on in Woodridge that was part of a grant called the Kellogg Foundation. And this was a dad and a daughter, and she's 12 years old. And this was the grand opening of the park and playground. It's only 2 acres, very small little park, but the playground has a ramping system that goes all the way through it, so it's a very inclusive design. And the dad was saying this was the first time he'd been able to play with his daughter on a playground, and she's 12 years old, but she was, as you can tell, pretty severe cerebral palsy, so it would be very difficult for her to play on any typical playground. So this one was one he said he was just so excited. So he actually came from, I think, quite a ways, about 20 miles away in order to come to the grand opening. So that's kind of, I just like that picture because that kind of really explains the whole idea of the ADA. It's providing those opportunities that just from a design standpoint or changes that could provide opportunities for more people to participate in that. So the one thing as we do an evaluation of any kind of place is there's different levels of related to accessibility of importance for removing them. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 priorities, with the ones kind of being things that probably should get done sooner than later. So those are things that, especially like from a parking space, a route up to a building, up to a playground, those are things from the Access Board, Department of Justice. They would say you need to really try to get those done sooner than later. And then going all the way down to things like a drinking fountain. Is that quite as critical for somebody to participate in a program? No, but it's included in the code. So at some point you need to make sure those type of things get updated. Okay. So this is basically what a report would look like related to any evaluations that we do at a building or a park. So there's a few enhancements in this particular report. So like the photograph, that's not necessary, but that's very helpful. Especially if you're doing walkways, you can kind of have a better idea exactly where that walkway is. It's not compliant in, especially a larger park area. So you have a description of what the issue is or barrier, the code reference, so that's the Americans with Disabilities Act Accessibility Guidelines or the Illinois Accessibility Code. So there's 2 codes that we're working with. And then a potential solution. Always try to, if possible, provide, you know, a couple maybe different solutions whenever possible. And then the priority, like I was putting out there, and then there should be somebody noted as the ADA coordinator, so they would be the one that would mark off once that's been corrected. And I don't know if that's you, Josh. And I told Josh he always gets a big pay raise because of that type of so, no. But anyway, and then the projected cost is from a book called the ADA Means Guide. So it's a ballpark figure. It's a book that's used by architects and engineers. They have kind of ballpark figures of what it would take for making removal of those barriers. And again, trying to be helpful from a standpoint for budgetary purposes for you. Projected date, there should be a date that should be put in there, and that can always change, but there should be some type of date that you're shooting for making those changes. So that's something that's very important. And the action taken is maybe it's something a little different. Maybe instead of just adjusting the closer on the door, you put in an automatic door opener. So that helps it come in compliance. So it might be a little bit different solution than what originally was noted. So that's just kind of like a note that can be put in there. And this is kind of like not a firewall, but this is something that is a requirement under the ADA when it was signed back in 1990. So this has been around for quite a while. So just the things that, the requirements or what the transition plan does. So it's a deficiency resource. It shows what things are not compliant with those codes. And the Illinois code was updated in 2018, so it's included some additional things. So picnic tables, benches, trails, those are things that were not included before but are now because of that revised code. So it's a technical and budgetary tool, like I was saying, estimated costs of what it's going to take to make those changes. It's a planning tool, again, kind of planning. Some of the things are things that might be regular maintenance type of things. Other things might be a capital project, like there was a playground that was quite a bit out of compliance. That's obviously going to cost quite a bit of money, so that's something that has to be planned ahead for making those changes. And then a few other things, it's an accountability tool. So anybody that's the ADA coordinator, that's very important for them when they sign off for something to make sure that it has been done completely and correctly. Sometimes people sign off on stuff because they've been told by the contractor it's been changed, but they might not have done it correctly. So that's always very important. It's a public document that the public has all rights to be able to look at and get an idea whether there's going to be changes in their particular park that they might be interested or building or that. And then it's a legal document to show that you're making a good faith effort, showing that you are making the changes. And one of the things I'll be looking at, because I did the previous one, is seeing the things that have been changed and helping make sure those have been noted. So that's a way you can always show, hey, over the past 10 years we've made 300 updates or changes in that. So that's kind of the requirements or what those documents or transition plans provide. Okay, so I don't know if there's any questions related to that. Or
Thank you.
okay, thank you. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gray. Aye. Larson.
Aye.
Bell. Aye. Callahan.
Aye, motion carries. Do not have executive session.
We do not. I just do want to remind the board, though, for next month, if you want to have an executive session to discuss my review, that could be something we could be added.
We've been texting about it for weeks.
But not by
Just
Lady
kidding.
May.
I never got a text from her. I never got anything like that.
I like to see Aaron's head explode.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. All those in favor, second by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. We'll see you next month. Thank you.